Hello. You're live, it says. What's up?
It's alive.
Welcome to Gary's Guitar Talk, the show where we talk about guitars, guitar repair. That's my little car talk joke that never seems to get old. So this week, our guest co-host is, I guess you're not a guest because you work here.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
you kind of just didn't have
Part
far
of
to
it.
come. Yeah. Jake Davis.
Hello.
So a lot of you who know the store know Jake because Jake, in fact, works
Here
here.
most days.
For people who follow the stream, and there was that year and a half hiatus, but we have some people who remember the old stream. So what we ask is when people chime in, just say hi, just so we know you're out there. Yeah, there we go. Got some people in there. Need some pre-show music. Yes, production quality here is at a minimum. And I think you probably noticed that and are aware that that's the situation. So what can I say? It makes it possible to do it. We use a very simple camera that has the good microphone built in. We do what we can.
It's a certain part of can't just create too much work for the sake of creating work.
Yeah, we don't have a production studio. We're obviously in the store. Did we lock the door?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. People try and bust in on us sometimes. And so Jake Davis here. I do want to give you a plug that you probably wouldn't want to plug yourself because you're not necessarily great at self-promotion. This Friday night
the 24th.
at the Word Barn, if you're in New Hampshire, Northern Massachusetts, Southern Maine, go to see Jake Davis and the Whiskey Stones record release show at the Word Barn in Newfields, Exeter area.
Yep. Technically Exeter, but it's on 85
there. Yeah. So
a great bluegrass band called The Mountain that's going to open.
Oh, The Mountain's opening. Mountain is great.
They are great.
They are, yeah. So it's a guaranteed great show.
It's fun too. I've known Joe from The Mountain for I think almost 11 years now too, and everyone's always like, why do you guys know each other? But we played a couple gigs together back in Boston back in the day.
Oh, way back. Yeah. Cool. So that's my plug for Jake. So what we do here is we talk about guitars, guitar repair, selling guitars, the guitar business, for those of you who don't know. And then you can also just chime in with a question in the chat, and we'll try to get to it. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Hi from the UK. We get people from the UK and in other parts of Western Europe, because this is the time where it's like midnight and you're not going to bed yet, but you're staying up a little bit, and so it works out well for that. Arizona in the house, Lancaster, PA, and we got some regulars in here. This is great. So let's kick off with some of our own topic. I have a topic that I've chosen to talk about, and then we'll start with that one. Don't buy guitars from strangers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It goes to, we see this, there's such good deals out there on Marketplace and Craigslist that you're tempted to go meet a person you don't know in a parking lot and give them money. Someone came in here recently with a guitar that was, by looking at it, you think it was fine, hardly used even. But it was a 12-string. It had a serious belly happening in the top, and a little bit of bridge rotation. So there's some separation at the bridge and the very tarnished frets, and the action was high. Never had a setup probably, and not since it had,
Yeah.
And perfectly nice person brought it in, and we're standing there just giving her this bad news.
Yeah, that is a unfortunate part of this job is sometimes you open the case and they'll think, we'll just get a simple restring today, and you go, oh no,
oh dear, no, your bridge is falling off.
Especially it's what we don't do the mechanic thing of like, you need this. Is what is heartbreaking about it. It's like, this guitar's not worth fixing.
Yeah, it's not the sell up. We don't do it out of a need to sell up. Like, you should get our complete setup. No. That way, no. But every once in a while, it's like, yes, yeah. And it happens. I mean, that guitar, we can fix it up
It'll be
enough
fine,
to
but-
go. The bridge probably won't fall off. We can put some lighter strings on it, lower the action a little bit, got all the corrosion off the frets. It'll be all right. But sometimes someone walks in with a guitar. I have a guitar that needs a string. And we open the case and it's like, no, you need a whole other guitar.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what the room's cooking here. Someone in NYC. How much neck relief is ideal? In 64th action, too low or too high, or what do you prefer? It stands to talk about action and rulers. We're not really big on the rulers around here. Peter is. Peter really likes to get out the ruler. He's our. But sometimes it's how the action feels. And so some guitars, you set it at whatever factory spec, and it's just like, no, this guitar is not happy. It's either So
especially once to the factory spec for some guitar, like Fenders, everything's 9 out of the factory.
Yeah. They're supposed to have 9s on them.
Put 10s on a lot of things.
Everyone
right
puts
away
10s on things. Yeah. That figures into it. How much neck relief? I like a straight neck.
Depends. On my acoustic guitar, I like a little bit of relief.
Yeah.
But electric guitar can be a little buzzy. I don't care.
Yeah. You get the possibility of buzz, and but just something about straight neck. I don't know. I just like the feeling of it. So not on the straight side for sure. Let's see. You have more lefties on your wall than I've ever seen. Yeah, there's 2 of them in back of us here, and there's another one over there. So thanks. It's unfortunately they don't sell well.
Well, you're one of
the problem
3
is
lefty players in town.
Yeah, I play guitar left-handed, and I don't stock a lot of them because they sit here for a while. I actually ended up talking about this last week too. Not all left-handed people play guitar left-handed, and so on and so forth. And left-handed people are so used to getting their guitars off the internet. It never was a weird thing to buy a guitar scene. Do you like the 3-barrel saddles for Telecaster or the individual?
I am in the middle of thinking about this with my own guitar right now, and that I generally don't mind the 3-barrel thing, because I don't mind fighting a guitar a little bit, especially Telly. I feel like there's a lot of, you're bending up to your pitch a lot, so there's the trueness of all the intonation everywhere is sometimes less important.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I know my Telly is over 30 years old, a little bit twisted. It's been played a lot, so the frets on the treble side are pretty flat, and that has made setting it up with the barrel saddles a little interesting. It looks really, it looks really wonky if you look it down, because the 2 treble strings are like almost flat instead of radius. It would be a 7 1/4 radius too, so it's not right, but it works. I was really examining it last night. The fretwear past the 12th fret is, if you like on the G string, it's exactly a whole step. Like it stops right at the top of the whole step. So it's precisely worn.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with how it feels.
Yeah. Now they make an intonated 3-barrel thing too. That has a little, brass pieces, but they have a little kickback for the G and stuff. So that's a good compromise. I don't mind because I have come to the point in life where I accept that intonation is not perfect and never will be.
Yeah.
So the
only thing I've been noticing with especially because mine are just the threaded, is I feel like because it's threaded, it's just more stuff to kind of corrode.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So they are a little.
And if you the dissimilar metals, I talk about it all the time. You have a bolt that's nickel zinc and going into a brass thing, and they're going to want to corrode. James from Sydney. Good day. Sorry. He's a regular too, I think. Paul McCartney's a lefty player. Yeah, I think we're familiar with that. One of the greatest. One of the last great old school relics at Portsmouth. So glad that Gary's is still around. Okay. Well, yes. Gary's Guitars has been here for 35 years now. 36 years ago. Long time. Gary still works here, so he fortunately for him, he gave up the business end of things, and I got stuck with it. But that's a whole other story. I wish the Telecaster could have a whammy bar. The Telecaster can have a Bigsby.
Yeah, that's common.
Yeah, they make a Bigsby kit for the Telly, and it's cool.
I imagine Fender's probably.
No, that one over there.
I say there's the Squire one. I imagine they're probably throwing it on some other guitars too.
Yeah. There was a PV Bandit 65 for $25 listed. I would meet in a dark parking lot for that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you pay your money, take your chances. That's the.
I once met a stranger to buy a fold-up pump organ, so
I've been in some scary places doing some unsavory things myself, but yeah. So if you just be careful buying guitars that good deals on guitars. It's kind of like used cars. When someone's getting rid of a used car, sometimes because the car is about to die or something's going on with it. How do you feel about guitars that are pre-Relic? If in a custom shop or Gibson's, what do you think of Relic guitars?
Some are better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can, when it's done well, it can kind of trick you into thinking you have this like old, well-loved thing, even though it is fairly a new guitar, and sometimes it just looks tacky. Yeah,
it has to be done well. If done well, you forget that it's actually a Relic, like that custom shop.
Yeah,
that one's all right.
Those look pretty light
because
too.
It's not just dragging it over some stones and whacking it with a screwdriver.
I will say too, like I don't love personally some of the like Fender road worn fingerboard look, but I have enjoyed playing some of those guitars that it wouldn't stop me from buying one.
Yeah.
If I enjoyed the feel of it enough.
Yeah. Good point. Let's see here. How to hear replacement pickups? How replacement pickups will sound in your guitar before you actually buy them? You can't.
I have an out-of-box idea on that one.
Oh yeah,
most people don't like is buy a totally different kind of amp. You want your guitar to do something different.
Don't change your pickups.
Change what it interacts with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, my thing about changing pickups was if you don't like the pickups, then get a whole other guitar. That was I'd always kept stock pickups in my guitar.
No, that one is weird.
I have someone actually asked a question: S Paul or SG? What's your thoughts? He likes the SG because of ergodynamics, but that has to do with changing pickups because I changed in my Les Paul Deluxe. I changed the neck pickup to a P90. That's one pickup change I did make. Also known as the Neil Young pickup. So mini humbucker in the rear, P90 in the front. It's a lot of different sounds.
Yeah.
Go find a guitar that's if you wanted to swap P90s into or you wanted to put whatever humbuckers in your Telly. Go find a Telly with humbuckers already in it somewhere and try it out.
Yeah.
A friend or a shop. We have a Telly here with humbuckers. Come try it out. But also, what's the word for it?
There probably are so
much variation.
Like instances where there's an obvious upgrade, but to really have the safety of knowing what it's going to do beforehand is just not. I don't think that exists.
Yeah, right.
It's just I wish it did.
Yeah, you put them in. You put great pickups. I had a Les Paul. I had one of those. Playing left-handed. I had an Epiphone Les Paul that I thought this is going to be my Les Paul, and so I better put some pickups in it because I will never be able to get a Gibson. And I put some premium pickups in it, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. I come down on. So first of all, everyone knows the story. I'll say it anyways. The first SGs were called the Les Paul. Before they called the SG, they made a revision in 1960 of the Les Paul. They gave another cutaway, smaller, lighter body, and the rumor is Les Paul said, "Get my name off of that thing."
Yeah.
So they did, and they just wrote SG, which people fight over what that's over. I heard it was for Spanish guitar because it's a neck that narrows, and that's what traditionally they would call it. A neck that's more narrow at the nut, and then someone's thought S is for standard. Anyways, everyone chime in with your interpretation of what SG means.
I like SGs are funny to me in that I feel like I've become an entirely different guitar player when I have one. I'm not used to the double cutaway thing. It just looks like so much guitar, and I just want to hang out above that 12
Yeah.
fret.
It's like, whoa, look at all this space. Oh my God.
So that's different.
Yeah. And they're kind of rubbery. So if you're used to playing a Les Paul and I pick up an SG and it's like, whoa, this thing, you can just you don't need a tremolo. You've been forward and backwards. Oddly enough, Mary Ford played in the SG. Well, she also divorced Les Paul, so I think she did. Or am I spreading rumors? I bought a Gretsch in a parking lot for 1,600 pounds cash 4 years ago, near mint. First time I'd ever picked one up. All right, that's a brave guy. So that's $2,000 or something. And I hope it's a nice guitar, but yeah, there's pay your money, take your chances. Solid guitar. Sister Rosetta, yep, Sister Rosetta, that famous that video that everyone watches where Sister Rosetta invented Jimmy Page.
Rain.
And
rain or something.
Oh, up above my head, that video, with her just ripping on a 3 pickup.
3 pickup, yeah.
And that's some beautiful stuff. That's another long and sordid story. What you did in the parking lot, is that what you mean, Michael? All right, we'll just leave that alone. I went down to pick up. I went down the pickup swapping rabbit hole once. I swapped out the Max Standard Strat 2005 pickups for SSL1. I changed things, and I never really cared about changing. I never really cared about changing on that guitar. That's true too. Sometimes you put new pickups in a guitar and it's like, okay. Or you just keep, okay, I changed the pickups. What else can I change? And some people just have the need. They just come in like, I want pickups. It's like, well,
I mean, I've also toyed with the idea of you just have kind of a Franken project guitar that you want to try and pick up, just keep throwing it in there. It's not quite the match all like.
Yeah, there are some some pickup makers who have it like a Les Paul where you can throw the pickups through the back of it or something. That way you can actually throw them in. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm talking a lot. I'm getting choked up here. And some pickup makers, for Scott Miller up in Madbury, he just said, put them in, try them. If you don't like them, you can swap them for something else.
Yeah.
So, because he's the maker of it, so he can, resell them as new. What's the oldest guitar you have in the shop? Let's have a look around. We usually have one from 18 something or other, like sitting there, but not right now. Sometimes we have an ancient acoustic. Got the mid 50s over there. What else do we have that's old? No, a lot of newer guitars. A lot of 60s, few 50s guitars. And so basically our balance is half and half, like half new, half used.
The lap steel, I guess, would win.
Yeah, the lap steel is pre-war, right? Yeah. So that's people. Speaking of which, Jake Davis also plays lap steel.
Very fun.
So plays a little. Here's an old lap steel from Regal, probably made by Harmony. Patina for days. And you see, this is always fascinating. You see this piece of wood over the pickup. We see this on some K guitars of the 30s, and even when Leo Fender put those covers on the pickups for his P bass and the Telecaster. It's kind of like people thought the pickups were ugly and they shouldn't be hidden.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like this is underneath a piece of wood because pickup is a gnarly looking thing. But turns out people don't mind looking at pickups, and so that's one thing I've noticed on some 30s guitars and some of those early Fenders is like trying to cover up the pickups. Like, don't bother covering them up.
I feel like that is the lightest little lap steel I've handled too.
Is it semi-hollow?
It's just super lightweight.
Please talk about guitar amps with effects. Well, there's two kinds of guitar amps with effects.
Yeah.
There's guitar amp, Fender that has a vibrato and spring reverb, which are hardly effects. And then there's the Fender Mustang and that kind of
That
stuff.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
So you want those amps with like 60 kinds of effects, or are you talking about just some basic effects? Do you like the, we recommend the Mustang quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's really good if you don't know like what you want. Like if having something that has a bunch of things to try on it is a really good just stepping stone into sort of figuring out a sound. Sometimes what can be a little difficult with those is that they're just, the presets are so programmed that, every now and then you lose the like art of subtlety. So it's sort of like they're really showing you like this is the extreme of this.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a little bit of dialing in, or that as you start to upgrade your gear over time, but also those things just work well even if you are an experienced user. Like they're just a great little practice tool as well.
Yeah.
I also was doing sound one night with somebody using one of the little bit of the fancier Mustangs. They only used maybe 2 different presets on it, and they probably spent a little time dialing it in.
You can modify the presets as
Sounded fine.
Yeah. Yeah. The digital amp thing has just reached the point where it's like, it's all right. I'm not going to be a snob about that.
Big crazy show or anything, so it worked for what they were trying to do.
Can you put stainless steel frets on my Charvel D24, DK24 HSS? If so, what's the damage? Well, let's talk about stainless steel frets for a minute. What do you think about stainless steel frets?
I haven't used them all that much.
Just things sitting at the store.
Yeah. The Yamaha they're on feels really nice.
Yeah. Usually a stainless steel fret refret is twice as much money, just because it takes longer to work with the material, and you ruin your tools faster by doing it. So your tool life gets cut down. So people who do stainless steel refrets, they usually add a couple $100. So you're probably looking at a $500 refret. I don't do that work here. We have Peter do it. So we'd actually ask him. We do it on a case-by-case basis. But yeah, putting in stainless steel frets does cost a bunch more. Now, the metal is harder. So on a regular guitar, you have a nickel with a little bit of zinc string pressing against a nickel with a little bit of zinc fret, and they both wear because they're about the same hardness. Once you put stainless steel frets, then your strings wear faster and your frets don't wear because it's just the stainless steel becomes a tool for grinding down strings. So change strings often. But they don't wear down, and some people who it does make a tonal change too. It really does. I've seen it happen. The customers we have who use stainless steel frets are the people who used to get a refret every couple of years. Dave Gerard, Adam Sharp. The people who are just out there in the trenches playing 3 to 5 gigs a week. They just had to go stainless steel because they were getting a refret annually. So SG feels slim after putting down the Les Paul. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I secretly want an SG all of a sudden. We've had a couple good SGs come through, including that one over there. But also that when we had that was a 1960 Repro with a Maestro. Kind of. That was a nice guitar. I enjoyed playing that.
I had a couple Korean Epiphone SGs that with like gold hardware and stuff, which I don't normally go crazy for, but the guitars played so well for being cheap that those were hard to pass on too.
Someone just chimed in SG rules. Okay. Yeah. SG players, are also a particular breed. So let's see what else we got here. I'm a Main Street Music Store guy. I watch all your vids. Thank you. My store is a NAM 100 store backstage in Starkville, Mississippi. Keep it going. We old seniors need a cool place to hang out. Yeah. So we're talking about we talk about this a lot, especially on this YouTube channel about being a dying breed, an independent store. And well, thank you for watching, and thanks for doing that thing. Because kind of, whenever I do my books, it's like, oh yeah, I could easily make the same money working at working at someone else's guitar store. So, but if I did that, Jake wouldn't have a job, and Gary would have to go work at Guitar Center, and Paul would have to retire, and Kurt, I don't know what would happen to Kurt. I don't even know. So we're going to keep it going for now, at least. Yeah. Hello from Ventura. Finally logged in on the live. Thank you for watching. So we're about halfway through. Let me remind you that we're just here talking about guitars, guitar repairs, guitar anything. So just chime in with any thoughts you have. Ask some questions in the chat, and we'll get to it. Do you have any other topics for tonight?
Hot topics?
Yeah.
No.
Hot take.
I was just trying to think. I wish I could get excited about a guitar earlier today.
Yeah. Well, you do have something that going that I don't necessarily have, but I see happen, and you just admitted to it, where guitar is literally your happy place.
Yeah.
Or if you're feeling nervous, you want to pick up a guitar and just kind of play it, or like it. I play guitar as a tool to make music, just like a framer wouldn't sit at home with their framing hammer, just kind of in the chair watching TV, just kind of like hanging out, and just kind of this hand, and that's So to me, a guitar is a tool. Not that I don't sporadically play a guitar once in a while.
Yeah.
My wife is afraid when I pick up a guitar and play her, if she hears guitar coming from the basement, she's like, "Are you sad?" I'm like, "No, I'm not sad. I'm just playing guitar. I don't have to be sad to play guitar. I'm just playing the guitar." You ever get accused of being sad because you picked up a guitar?
Not directly. But I think maybe by the fourth or fifth tune, if it's still pretty solemn, it might. I also, though, playing steel guitar in the house is already, there's no emotional read on
There's
that.
Well, you're playing pedal steel. Yeah. Pedal steel just weeps. Yeah, that's
So there's no telling what's going on up there.
Yeah, it's either joy or sadness, and they both sound the same.
They sound the same through that instrument.
Does Ibanez require the same or similar amount of investment to carry their brands in your store, similar to Gibson or Fender? Probably less than maybe Gibson or Fender. I've never been a Gibson dealer, so I can't say exactly what they require, but it's daunting. Fender wasn't quite daunting because Fender does this thing. They're like, and Ibanez must do this too, because Yamaha will become a full Yamaha dealer right away. But so Fender came in and said, "Oh, well, we'll let you carry the amps and the made in Mexico guitars and the Squires, and and if you should order whatever kind of low number, $30,000 a year worth of stuff." And I was like, I can do that. And so that got us in with Fender, and then we kind of built from there. The thing about Ibanez here is two things I like to say, and I'm sorry to say it even. A lot of the inexpensive Ibanez guitars that come through here, less impressed than I used to be. A lot of twisted necks. I don't know. And then Ibanez also has this whole part of their line that's the race car guitars, the heavy metal guitars that we don't sell much of.
Yeah.
Just kind of our demographic, our area and all that stuff. So, so if I brought in another brand, what would it be? That's a good question. A set neck guitar. That would be, which Ibanez has a few set necks. But then again, those Art Core, the new Art Cores, the artists were so good. I had a 1977 Artist, one of the best guitars I've ever played, period. But the new Artist series are okay. The Art Core, we see too many there, just don't hold up so well. So this Ibanez is a much lower buy-in, said Michael. Yamaha Pacifica is better, definitely, than the entry level. That's one of our entry level guitars. We have the Pacifica Strat copy thing. It's a good time. Have you restored guitars? Any interesting stories? Well, if you look back in this YouTube thing, and look into the playlist and find the Brass Monkey Bass project.
Oh yeah.
That was 5 years ago. I decided I would, I didn't know what to do with YouTube, so I decided I would just film the process of putting a bass back together that had been taken apart. And I was pretty new to YouTube, but you can check that out. But yeah, I have restored some guitars. They're usually things that don't deserve it, or like no, that deserve it, but like don't warrant it, I guess is the word for it.
It'll be
Harmonies
kind
and
of
Ks
just
and
like Last Puppy at the shelter kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like, oh, I gotta take this thing.
there was a harmony. Yeah. So yeah, all the neck resets I've done on guitars are guitars I couldn't afford to pay someone else to do the neck reset on, because I don't like doing neck resets. It takes a lot of time, especially if you don't do it every day. I have gotten through a dozen of them, and I don't suck at it anymore. You're gonna screw up the first three you do. I think that's my. And so you screw up the first three of anything you do when you talk about like a refret or even a level on crown or whatever. You're gonna screw a few up, then you're gonna get good at it. The problem is because I got this business, I got the record store down the way here. I opened a record store. I got all these other things going on. You need a certain kind of quiet to do that work well, and that does not happen during store hours here for sure. You can't do it while you're working at the store. You can do setups like Gary's good at flipping back and forth between setting up a guitar and talking to customers, but you got to be in the zone. You can't let people break that momentum. So. We're stuck on that side of the display case. Guitars from pawn shops are cheaper. Do you trust those? 50% of them are fine. The other 50% are not. It depends on the pawn shops. The pawn shops are less reputable now. The old-fashioned pawn shop deal, buy it cheap, sell it cheap, that's gone.
I actually did just see a thumbnail for that show Pawn Stars, and it was like 70s Gibson guitar brings thousands, and it was just a 70s 335 worth about $3,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely don't like that.
Just kind of a funny that's just, I didn't realize that was going to be a big TV.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Have you ever seen a Cort branded cutaway acoustic electric? It's an open pore model. What was that Cort cutaway?
Had a Cort masterpiece.
Yeah, that came in used, and we bought it cheap and sold it cheap, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Was that open pore? I don't know.
Don't
it was maybe low luster on the sides and the back, and a high luster on the top, maybe.
Well, it had the
very ergonomic. Yeah, it had
the
sound ports on the two of them on the top side. It was strange.
Yeah. But it was sounding good to a player, though, in the way it just, with the sound ports there, it does just kind of project it right in your ear.
And Cort, makes good stuff.
When I was a teenager, there were photos of me. I'd always end up sticking my ear down to the guitar.
Because you're really trying to get the EQ of it, So, did I do the recap halfway through? Yeah, this is, I meant to do it. This is Guitar Talk. We talk about guitars. This is Jake Davis. He works here at Gary's Guitars, and he's an occasional co-host. Gary is the other co-host. And then we're going to have guests, too, because Gary doesn't want to do it every week. I think that's the real crux of it. Doing the show was a way to get Gary to talk about, a lot of his knowledge, because Gary.
Yeah.
He'll just stand there and not talk for hours. But you get him going, and then he'll be like, oh, yeah, back in 1958, between 58 and 59, early 59, the winding, on this was, and you're getting this really deep stuff that, just lost to the universe. So I just want to get that stuff on the record, which is why part of the reason for having this.
One of the funniest Gary moments I think I ever had was very early on in working here, so we still don't know each other all that well. And there was just, I can be pretty quiet by nature anyway, so there was just a day where we were not chatting a whole lot. And I do think as he was leaving, I was like, well, nice talking with you.
Oh, yeah.
We essentially hadn't said a word to each other for hours.
Yeah.
No, it's just funny.
Yeah. And there is the age-old people come in like, I'm a friend of Gary's. Gary has 6 friends. I don't even know if I'm a friend of Gary's, and I've known him for 30 years. So, 30-something years. So, most of my life, yeah. Gary has, like I said, just a man of few words and a simple man. Just like the Leonard Skinner song. Simple kind of man. Is Cort better than Washburn? Yes.
I'm pretty neutral on that one.
Yeah, I'd say yes. Kort's doing some pretty cool stuff, and especially Kort ghost manufacturers for Ibanez and Fender, everyone, I think. So they get a lot of experience. They get their people get a lot of time making other people's guitars, and that just makes them better at making guitars. So
Can't say I've even seen any Washburn stuff in a while.
you don't see it. Yeah, that's for sure. Not around here. Once again, they kind of cater to the metal crowd a little bit. So. Let's see. We had a couple other things here. Someone said, "Hi from Byron Bay. Hi from Byron Bay, guys. Where's Byron Bay? I don't know. Tell us." Fender Japan. What do you think of Fender Japan guitars?
Great.
You're
I haven't tried any of the they're more race car-y ones, but I do have like an older Japanese guitar. But they have a couple of those, thin P basses and stuff. I can't even remember what they're called. They're like Aerodyne or
right, yeah, the light one, yeah, they're a little more
thinned and kind of.
Yep.
So I haven't really had my hands on those, but I've got a '90s crafted in Japan telly, and it's great.
Yeah, I got a soft spot for those Japanese
also
Fenders, especially the '80s ones.
I like it too. It's in that sweet spot of it's not particularly valuable, but it's good.
You can lean up against the amp.
Yep.
You can leave it on stage during sound, or you can leave after sound check before the show and not worry about it.
We'll play a gig in the rain this summer under a 10x10 tent.
Yeah. A little wind blowing
right.
that. Yeah,
it's a little sticky, but it's okay.
Yeah. The Kort model has a single round sound hole. Open pore refers to the finish. Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah, the open pore finish on that particular
had
guitar.
A glossier finish, I think.
Yeah, we have some open pore guitars come through, especially the Tetons are big on open pore. It's a cool idea, I guess. Those Yamaha Storias look open pore, but they're actually composite sides, I think. So they just kind of give it the look. The Yamaha Storia, you wouldn't believe how good it is. If I told you about it and didn't let you play one, you'd be like, there's no way that's a good guitar. It sounds terrible, but it sounds great. So what can you do? It's a very modern guitar.
New concert we just got from them is good too.
Yeah.
An LS6M.
Just give it a name. Especially with the Gretches. Oh, I can't even, I can't keep track of these numbers.
Yeah, it's tough.
Give it a name. Call it Bob. Yeah. But yes, those are, bound front and back, bound fingerboard, little concert size, would you say? Or
Yep.
Yeah.
Passive pickup. That actually sounds pretty good.
Oops, have I lost contact with the room because it's gotten quiet out there? What's the reasoning behind putting a mic in front of a guitar amp?
Get it out to that PA.
Yeah. So the reasoning is to be able to put it into the PA, even if guitars are too loud. Guitar is too damn loud is the thing, but I would put a mic in front of a guitar amp even if I wasn't using it, just in case if a solo kicks in or someone stomps on a pedal and the guitar gets quieter.
Yeah.
As a sound engineer, which Jake is also a live sound engineer. I'm a recovering live sound engineer. I'm a studio engineer.
I had, and vice versa, I had my butt saved by a live sound engineer, and that we had a really rush sound check one afternoon and didn't realize that at some point my master volume on my drive had gotten tamped way down. So I went to step on my big solo and it got really quiet. But I still had signal, so I think I trusted he got me out there, but it was I had a decision to make.
And so, and also I don't want to get into cutting on sound guys too hard. But there are, there's often too many microphones on the stage for a lot of shows. It's one thing if you're playing an outdoor or an arena or, something, but if you're indoors and you're tight micing every drum and everything, it could be, but that's for another podcast. Or this isn't even a podcast, YouTube cast.
Guitar talk.
Guitar talk. That's for live sound talk, which I think would be a fun thing to do. But I would get like so much hate.
Well, the thing is about live sound is there's always another decision you could make. So I think anyone approaching any mix situation there's opinions to be had.
Yeah, I actually, we were at a show recently. We both were at the Jeff Tweedy show last week. Live sound, he did a good job, except the vocal EQing was really weird, and kind of wish it wasn't. But but I'm not here to work. I'm here to listen. So I just listen. I try to put that out of my mind.
Also got to be like patient with some of that stuff too. Like for me in that show, especially back we were sitting, so the balcony kind of blocks some of the high. I think that we were getting a lot of kick drum. It felt like a little bit of vocal and kick drum for the first like 2 songs, and then the rest of the show was great.
Yeah.
So,
and okay, let me tell my one, not my one. So this pops in my mind. So the NAMM show, the annual music convention, music marketers, but they also have a lot of musicians, teachers, and live sound professionals are there, and they have seminars. And I get up really early and I go to some of these seminars. So and I don't use a lot of digital mixers, so I want to just get some more time with one. So I went to this Allen and Heath seminar. And there's a room full of like a classroom, except there's an Allen and Heath desk at every desk, and you can 2 people at each one. It was kind of cool. And the guy up front did sound for Billie Eilish, and he's like a super top rated pro dude, and he's going deep on all. And everyone in the room was wearing a hoodie, some with the hood up, some with the hood down, but like looking like the sound guy. Everyone had a little Leatherman knife multi-tool on their side, like really looking like. Except for me, I was dressed like this. And I was sitting there for a while, and he was talking about the snare sound for about a good 15 minutes, talking about, and I was like, wait a minute. We haven't heard the snare sound yet. He's just been talking. None of us had listened to the music. He just brought up the multi-band EQ and showing how, what does that snare even sound like? And the room full of people, like, we're going like, this is great. It's like, why don't we listen? Excuse me, can we listen to the snare and see what it needs? No. Every snare is different.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's my rant. Let me check in back into the room here.
Music's fun.
Yeah, music is fun. That's why they call it playing music and not working music. I'm in the market for a Telecaster. My budget and talent dictate not a full Fender $1,000 telly. I'm considering building my own parts caster. Any thoughts?
You can end up kind of building yourself a stock telly for about the same price if you're not careful.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, if you don't need some exotic changes, then parts, especially right now where used guitars are plentiful, you can get a good deal on a used Fender. So,
especially we get a lot of, I put this guitar together and it's not right. Can you fix it for me? And then there's another $150 bill at the end.
Yeah, because we had to do more than we had to re-drill the neck. So just be careful. Not all parts do bolt onto all other parts. Only do it for the adventure of it. Realize that you're not going to save any money putting one together.
You will learn a lot.
You'll learn a lot. You'll have an adventure. And you'll have something unique when you're done.
Yeah.
But saving money is not the building your own, I think.
The other thing, too, if you build something that you end up not loving, then you might have a harder time recouping some money, too.
Yes. Well, one of the signed guitars have one owner, and that's you. So.
But for adventure, just go for it, for sure. That's fun.
DI is quick and easy. Bass tone usually is fine that way. Yeah, I use DI and bass, but especially if the amp has a DI out. Not like plugging the bass directly into a DI box, which also works. Yep. But I like taking the amp sound just so you get their settings as well. But on a guitar amps that do have DIs, I don't like the speaker DIs where you have the speaker out and it transforms it down enough to use it with a DI. Yeah. Just put them. The things cost more than a Shure SM57, so just put a mic in front of it. Do you ever get chips in through your store? We get them. People come and say, "Fix my guitar, it doesn't work,"
Yeah.
but we don't sell them. We don't resell them.
No, we had a fake Lucille come through here once, and we spotted that pretty quick.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah, it was pretty convincing, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. What? Wait a minute. What about? And then there's that. You know. But sometimes when we talk about chips, and you really talk not about the good forgeries, but just like the $100 guitar. So this was a pretty good forgery. It was Epiphone
There
quality.
was one guitar that was, someone had very badly painted Gibson on it, and it was kind of like, I don't even think you're trying to fool anybody. It's hard to tell sometimes because it was all no solder, just wire nuts and tape, and it was a mess.
Well, I remember, was it the Gibson logo was like a photocopy, and it was cut out and glued on? Was it that one? And for a let's say, what's the word? Unhoused customer.
It was a dumpster guitar in the first place, so, but it did have Gibson painted on it.
It says the Squire bodies are smaller in spec, especially the tuner holes. Yeah, it's real hard to work with Squire parts. I think if you're doing the parts caster thing. Thanks, I'm 100% in for the adventure and experience. Gets cold in Minnesota. Wife says no to another car. So, yeah. And so someone asked earlier, and I forgot to answer the question: what kind of tools to get? Just for doing your average everyday adjustment. For those who don't know, there's a company called Stu Mac that's a big tool seller. There's another called Luthier's Mercantile.
Yeah.
So you can Google those. First, just start with the multi-tool pack that Fender and Seymour Duncan and Ernie Ball sell. Just that kind of, pack it. Most of the things you need to just kind of care for a guitar, and go from there. And also, the tools to do this job have gone from they didn't exist to now it's a lot of money. But yeah, put a guitar together. All Parts has really high quality parts. A lot of it's made by the same kind of OEM manufacturers and stuff. So I recently upgraded my old Squire from my childhood. Not happy with the neck at all. Any suggestions for aftermarket necks?
It's a feel thing.
Yeah, neck is good when you put your hand in it. It's a. I said All Parts. Be careful of some of the other, let's see, there's Wormith and
But I mean, I also kind of think of like, what are the things to be unhappy about with the neck? There's the shape of it, there's the fingerboard radius, and there's the finish.
And there's just the bad fretwork.
There's that too,
neck.
yeah.
That would see.
Every now and then on the cheap guitar in like first plate, a little splinter when you get the first couple bends in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a good one. I want to do a guitar out of wood from Home Depot. That would be an experiment. Use pressure treated.
Yeah.
Home Depot wood is especially. I don't know if you know about this. Home Depot has low prices because they buy. The lumber providers go like, here's a gnarly piece of crappy wood. Put it in the Home Depot pile. They actually grade it out, and stuff that goes to the big box stores is inferior in quality. If you do want to do that, let it sit for a season or two. Find out how to season it, and then. But I wouldn't do it off the shelf, man. That's just come over to my house and have a look at my deck. How gnarled up that is with Home Depot wood. Actually, my deck had wood at Ray Cheese, so it should be better than Home Depot wood. Stratosphere is next. Yep, Stratosphere. Also in New Hampshire. They do not want to do customer service, by the way, so do not knock on their door. A lot of people from around here go like, the Seabrook, New Hampshire, wherever they are. I'm just going to go see if they're there. No, they're there to take apart guitars and sell the carcasses. They're the Grim Reapers.
Similarly, that weird SX lap steel that I bought for myself years ago, shipped out of Claremont, New Hampshire.
Oh,
and when I recommended one to a friend, he's like, maybe I can just pick one up over there. And I'm going back home, and I was like, do not come here.
Yeah, SX. Yeah, that's
It's a weird
That was an
one.
8-string or something? Or is it first 8-string?
with it was I bought it for the legs.
Oh yeah, I had the legs, so
I
you could
wanted some
stand
really
when you
tall
play it.
legs. Yeah.
All right, so we've still got a little time left. So any last minute questions, chime in.
I still want to know how long it was sitting in a warehouse before I bought it, because the gig bag has a hole for a MP3 wired headphones out.
Oh yeah,
So like the kind of envision you like wearing it on your back and your underwear to practice and riding the subway or something. And I don't know.
Guitars, so there are warehouses full of guitars, and they're even
I also
fuller.
feel like I bought one and my friend bought one, and now you can't find them.
That's true too. Also because
Nobody's playing 8-string lap steel.
no, someone someone orders 1,000 of them. It takes
15 years.
15 years to sell them all, and then they're gone. All right. Any more? Let's see here. So Gibson, you got that one. Is that vintage Gibson Tweed amp a reissue? Oh, so they can see the Gibson from behind now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. No, that is the real thing. It is the Gibson Et.
Tremolo.
I guess. Why not have some fun? It has tremolo for days. It's plugged in, but it has a long cable.
Even the handle on it is just.
Yeah, look at this handle. It says Gibson right here. The Gibsonette tremolo.
A wooden foot switch.
Wooden foot switch. It's got the throws on the top with the chicken head knobs. It's the thing.
So
what
like,
year do we
like the angled grill claw?
Yeah.
Everything about it.
Just design.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful looking, beautiful sounding. $13.99 here at Gary's Guitars. It is the real thing. It still has the 2-prong. It's so original. It still has the 2-prong cable. What we do with those is we give you the option of changing it to a 3-prong. We polarize them. We mark which side should be hot and cold. But some people like everything to be super vintage, so. Stratosphere does allow picking up on orders, but not shopping around. Yeah. I just remember some people reporting back that Stratosphere is not the place for chit chat.
Yeah. Like the entry point of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They'll let you come in the entryway and pick up your stuff, but I'm going to a guitar show in Natick this Sunday. Oh, man, I got a sore throat. A little dry throat. No, I didn't know about that, but also there's a record show in Portland, I think, too. So I don't go to guitar shows that much.
Record show sounds fun.
Yeah. The thing about guitar shows is you just working in a guitar store, you kind of see everything. It's just a slow motion guitar show.
Very slow.
Yeah. Yeah, 62 Strat. Yeah, I've seen one of those. Oh yeah, but one came through the store, How many parts project guitars have you built? Me, probably a half dozen. Got 2 on the burner here that they just need the time. What is your favorite? Gee, I don't know. I don't build a lot of, the ground up project guitars. I usually just find a bunch of parts that should go together.
I just have one Franken Telly that's got a bunch of, or Franken lap steel that's got a bunch of weird stuff. Gibson pickup, weird tone pot that doesn't belong but makes it really sharp, so you can get a good wow under your pinky.
Yeah.
And there's benders on it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's so yeah, we're not big on the parts guitars, I guess. I like the factory guitars. I like the good old. Well, I have a 1965 Gibson and a 1980 Gibson, so those are good years for that. Also had a Gibson Ranger that sounded great.
Bob Sullivan says, watching, glad you're back. Hey, Bob. I
Hey,
think that's
Bob.
the Bob that we know. But, all right. Well, I guess that's all for now. Let's do the wrap it up. Thank you for watching. This is Guitar Talk from Gary's Guitars. We do this about once a week, usually on Wednesdays. We're going to try to keep it going. What else should I tell you? Watch all the videos here on YouTube. Hit like and subscribe and all that stuff. And yeah, yeah, a little Jim Cramer thing. All right, stand by for the end. Say good night, Jake.